Hey students, Ms. Cassidy here. So we're going to do our first vocabulary for Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This is going to cover our first section of the novel, chapters 1 and 2. Some things are a little different this time. Please make sure as you go through the video you're following along by watching and by listening, or you're going to miss some of the information and lose some points. So our first word is clamor. Number 1 is clamor. And take a look at your paper. Below the word clamor, you're going to notice some numbers, 1, 2, 3, and a 4. These are for you to rate your word knowledge. If you look in the top margin of your paper at the top there, it says a 1 means I've never heard that word before today. I didn't know that word existed. A 2 is I know this word existed, but I couldn't have told you what it meant. 3, I know what the word means. I can define it if somebody had asked me. And a 4 is I own this word. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, I use it. Not that I skip down the hallway saying it, but I use this word as appropriate. So please rate your word knowledge for clamor, a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. And again, this is a verb, to climb with difficulty, especially on all fours, like to scramble. So clamor is like climb. Notice a similar root. This comes from page 7. He was clambering heavily among the creepers and broken trunks when a bird flew by. My example sentence is I clambered down the side of the mountain in the dark. Would you please create an example sentence that relates in some way to what we studied so far about the novel? So this could be our anticipation guide where we talked about a plane going down, about kids being stuck on a tropical island, no rules, no adults, no supplies. It could relate to some of the images and texts that we did on the building background with nuclear bombs, communism, mutual destruction, bomb survival shelters. Okay, so create your sentence related to something related to that, or the sentence from the text using the word clamor. Please underline or circle the word clamor in your sentence. And as always, pause the video as needed. Clamor. I had to clamber over my clothes to get to my bed. Climb and clamor are synonyms. Clamor. Number 2 is strident. Please rate your word knowledge for strident. It's an adjective, meaning loud, harsh, grating, or shrill noises, to be discordant. This comes from page 17. The note fluking up an octave became a strident blare, more penetrating than before. Strident. The strident screaming of the crowd in the gym made its way past my earplugs and into my eardrums. Please create your own sentence using the word strident related to our novel. Circle or underline your word. Number 3 is speculate. Strident. The explosion did more than dent the city buildings. The noise of the boom was a strident kaboom. Strident. Number 3 is speculate. This is a verb, to meditate on a subject or reflect. Rate your word knowledge for speculate. Comes from page 18. Their heads clustered above the trunks in the green shade, their heads full of eyes that watched Ralph and speculated. My sentence, I began to speculate if my idea of working a job after sports practice, after school, was a good idea after all. I wasn't getting to bed until 1 a.m. and didn't fall asleep until after 2. Please write your own sentence for speculate. Speculate. Speculate uses the root spect, and it means to look. There's some other words you are probably familiar of with speculate. Spectator, someone who watches. Spectacles, glasses that help people see. Inspect, to look over carefully, or perspective, how one looks at an event. So spect, to speculate, meaning to reflect how you look at an event. Speculate. Number 4 is clamor, and this is a verb, a vehement expression of discontent or protest. Please rate your word knowledge for clamor. This comes from page 22. Jack started to protest, but the clamor changed from the general wish for a chief to an election. My example sentence, when the referee made a poor call, the clamor of the crowd made him reconsider his decision. Be careful to not confuse word number 4, clamor, with word number 1, clamor. They're homophones, meaning they sound the same, but they are spelled differently with different meanings, right? Clamor has a B in it, like climb, clamor and climb. Clamor is the word we're talking about here on number 4. Okay, we can also say clamorous. Clamor is a verb, clamorous is an adjective. Loud and confused, noisy, loudly demanding or complaining. Clamorous. Please write your own sentence using the word clamor, C-L-A-M-O-R, related to the content of the novel. Number 5 is indignation. This is a noun, anger aroused by something unjust, mean, or unworthy. Rate your word knowledge for indignation, please. Piggy stood, and the rose of indignation faded slowly from his cheeks. So he was slowly becoming less angry. The indignation of being accused of something she didn't do took some time to fade. Indignation. You might have heard the phrase righteous indignation, when you know you're right, when you've proven that you've been wronged. Indignation. Please write your own sentence using the word indignant or indignation. Number 6 is grating. It's an adjective, and it means to cause to make a harsh grinding or rasping sound through friction. Please rate your word knowledge for grating. And right below the 1, 2, 3, 4, will you please write the word strident? Strident was our second vocabulary word. Strident and grating could be synonymous, could be synonyms. This one, against which Jack leaned, moved with a grating sound when they pushed. Grating, a harsh grinding. The grating of the nails on the chalkboard was more than she could handle. Grating. So it's similar to strident. Please write your own sentence for the word grating. Number 7 is scornfully. Please rate your word knowledge for scornful. It's a noun. It means contempt or disdain felt toward a person or object considered despicable or unworthy. If you are feeling indignant, you might also feel scorn. Please write the word indignant in the same box that scornfully is located, so you have that clue that they're similar. Like kids, he said scornfully, acting like a crowd of kids. The crowd cried out scornfully at the referee's poor call. Scornfully, to mock, contemptuously. Please write your own sentence using the word scornfully. Number 8 is officious. It's an adjective marked by excessive eagerness in offering unwanted services or advice to others. Please rate your word knowledge for officious. There was pushing and pulling and officious cries. So this is when you offer things that aren't wanted or needed. My mother's officious advice is one of her trademarks among my friends. When we go out in the evenings, she officially cries, "Drive safe, wear your seatbelt, call me if you need anything, be home by midnight." So officious, offering unnecessary or unwanted advice or services. Not needed, not wanted. Officious. Please write your own sentence using the word officious. Number 9 is tumult, and this is a noun. It means disorderly commotion or disturbance. Please rate your word knowledge for tumult. He paused in the tumult is a sentence from our story. There was a tumultuous argument between the people on the sidewalk. The tumult made everyone that was walking past uncomfortable. Please create your own sentence using the word tumult or tumultuous. Tumult. Disorderly commotion or a disturbance. Tumult. Number 10 is errant. Please rate your word knowledge for errant. It's an adjective, straying from the proper course or standards, making errors, but according to a society. Not necessarily that you're wrong, but you don't behave in this way that society says you should behave. So it's kind of like out of the box thinking. The noise of the errant assembly faded up the mountain. The errant young fisherman stuck his hand in the gills of his first halibut, thinking they were the same as salmon gills. He realized his error after he felt the sharp razor edges on his fingers and yanked them out. So errant, So an errant god, on the far right here, that's this novel title, would be a god, a deity acting in a way outside of the way other deities or gods might behave. Star Wars, knight errant. So a knight who's behaving in ways that maybe other knights wouldn't be. So maybe more brave, more courageous, more bold. It seemed wrong that a handful of errant, reckless people could take away the opportunity for thousands of people who are following the rules. Or that comic there, wandering or given to wandering, searching of adventure, missions of chivalry as knights errant. Okay, errant. Please write your own sentence using the word errant related to any of the sentences from the text or what we've done so far. And this will conclude our lesson for our vocabulary. Thank you.